Hey, yo, friendos, welcome to the start of something a bit weird. Um, but I did say I wanted to start reading stuff, maybe to myself. But at some point, I did say it. Uh, so yeah, we're gonna start with uh the title card things to the Big Bang Theory. uh, yeah, I started watching the show, and these popped up, and they don't give you much time to look at them. So here we go. Chuck Lorre Productions number 182. Back when I was writing and producing Dharma and Greg, the only way to read my cards was to record each episode on a VCR and hit the pause button. This was not an easy task. The image wobbled like crazy, making the tiny words of my weekly tomes very hard to see. Then it hit me. What about building a device that records video images digitally? Wouldn't this allow for a much more precise pause function? I took my little notion to an impoverished computer whiz by the name of Shlomo Tivowitz. I'm sorry, is that their actual name? Like a wizard of some sort. They specialize in slow motion. Anyway, at the time of our meeting, Shlomo was feverishly trying to invent an improved version of the George Foreman grill. Shlomo's grill would contain a hard drive that remembered all the details of your last barbecue, as well as an address book. Okay, and I didn't really see the point of it, but not being a tech guy, I held my tongue and presented him with my idea. I will never forget his reaction, with hamburger flecked spittle flying from his blubbery lips. He laughed, called me some very unkind names, and demanded that I leave his mother's basement immediately. My hopes dashed. I went back to work on Dharma and forgot about my silly idea. Well, I'm sure you can figure out what happened next. The fact that you're reading this card right now should tell you thankfully. It's not in my nature to be bitter, but there are times when I feel a little used. Usually when I've forgotten how to effectively grill a fatty piece of chicken. Well, already then. Do I have to do this for each one? Alright, number 184. Don't fall for a woman who's had sex with one of your rock and roll heroes. No matter how emotionally evolved you think you are, you will never enjoy listening to Eric Clapton again. Don't look around websites where people comment about your work unless you're drunk. Don't use emoticons. You're too old to communicate like a 12-year-old girl. Don't forget that you are the product of a culture that went stark raving mad about 10,000 years ago. Adjust your thinking accordingly. Don't answer TV critics' questions about the state of TV comedy. It's a trap. Don't eat anything bigger than your head. True in the 60s. True today. Don't believe that crap. You're as young as you feel. Your feelings lie. Don't hug men while shaking their hand. Enough already with that. The shake hug, shug, is probably something Roman guys did when their empire was in decline. Oh, I went. Oh, I see. I have to do it this way then. Oh dear lord. Alright. The hardest journey is the one. Oh, 186. The hardest journey is the one that leads to the truth. I did not know that when I began my little midnight ramble. If I had, I probably would have stayed home, drank myself stupid, and watched Ferguson until the big nod closed my book for the day. But there I was, standing outside her house, looking up at her bedroom window, while a cold rain whipped me in the face like I'd somehow pissed it off. I could see her kissing him. I could see her as she slowly descended beneath the window frame. Oh my. I could see him too. He just stood there smiling, like the canary who got eaten by the cat. But then a funny thing happened while I was dancing the voyeuristic bebop. In my terribly trendy bright green plastic shoes, I found myself thinking that the aching loneliness that I had, the aching loneliness I was feeling had its roots in something much deeper. That being 86 to a one bedroom efficiency in the marina by a dame who digs deep into the degrading bang bang in order to make up for an emotionally distant father. No, this was the pain of existential separateness. The false sense that one is fundamentally apart from people, things, life, the whole damn universe. In a blinding flash, I realized what I was really experiencing was the result of a lifelong indoctrination by a culture which elevates individualism above all else, thus causing a soul crushing sense of aloneness which demands over and under the counter medication. The constant distraction of sporting events, TV, major motion pictures, and pop tabloid religion based on celebrity worship slash crucifixion. Alright, damn. Of course, this epiphany did not deter me from pulling the Roscoe out of my fanny pack and going into the house to TC of B. As I crossed up the stairs, I could feel my wet tube socks squishing through the little round holes in my polyurethane Crocs. Number 187. Alright, shut up, sit down, and listen. I am the immortal spirit Sheldon Leonard, and for the last few years, I have been using the body of Chuck Lorre to channel my ideas for new sitcoms. For the record, he's a stinking lousy channel, and my ideas are much better than what he's putting on television. This is why I'm breaking my anonymity. No matter how specifical I tell the kid to what to write, he still manages to cock it up. Dharma and Greg, what the hell was that? I specifically said to do a show about a queer guy who loves a straight chick. And she loves him back, but they can't, bump uglies. What does Lore listen? No way, Jose. They the puts turns it inside out, winds up with hippie chick love uptight lawyer. Lo- Winds up with hippie chick loves uptight lawyer, and then wonders why he can't buy an Emmy. I did find a writing team to act as a channel for that pitch, which worked out pretty good, Emmy and cash wise. Anyway, back to Lore. A couple years later, while he's sleeping, I whisper to him, two brothers inherit a midget. Funny, right? What's Lore do? You got it, 2.5 men. Give me a break. Anyway, I decide to give the mook one last chance while he's under the gas at the dentist. Okay. I tell him to do a show about four wise guys and a sexy dame what knows the score. So what does the knucklehead do? Scientists and a waitress. It just breaks my heart. But at least the dope managed to slip my name in this one. Now, if you'll excuse me, I gotta schlep over to Milton Berle's crypt for a little pinacle with the boys. What the fuck? Alright. Alright, 189. Last winter, the magazine Entertainment Weekly had a story about me in which I was called the angriest man in television. When the article came out, I shrugged and said things like, "Oh, it's just a trashy tabloid. It doesn't mean anything." But you know what? That's a lot of crap. It's taken me 10 months to get in touch with my feelings about that article. Pretty quick for a guy, and guess what? I'm angry. How dare anyone suggest I have no right to feel what I feel? If you're even barely engaged in this world, anger manifests itself constantly. Assuming you're not medicated, which I am not, damn it to hell. Excuse me. And let's be totally honest here, anger does a lot of good. It clenches my stomach muscles into a tight knot so I can look good with my shirt tucked in. It adds hours and hours of productivity by keeping me awake until 5 o'clock in the morning. It's a constant reminder that I should never own a gun. It's what makes golf an opportunity to practice my javelin toss. It fills me with joy every time Lewis Black is on the Daily Show. It adds sizzle to caffeine. It whispers to me that I'm fine, that I don't need to slow down, that my cardiologist is an idiot. It keeps people at a healthy distance during flu season and the rest of the year as well. Finally, it encourages me to use my vanity card to foolishly burn bridges with TV critics. Hey, you, don't screw with me. I've got two vanity cards now, and I'm not afraid to use them. Okay, the sun's coming up. I'm gonna try and get some sleep. Alright. Alright. Number 191. I'm writing this vanity card at 6 o'clock. Yeah, 6 o'clock in the morning. On October 18th, 2007. It's my birthday. I'm 55 years old. I have, I have long ago become invisible to young women. They actually do not see me. But I'm not writing this to complain. I'm at peace with my circumstances. The blessing of 55 is a libido in decline. The curse of it is that major pharmaceutical companies are now successfully exploiting my insecurities. Suddenly, that's a real commercial of a silver-haired guy sitting naked in an outdoor bathtub holding hands with a naked, slightly younger woman in an adjacent tub makes perfect sense. If I had produced that spot, I would have given him a small plasma screen TV so he could watch ESPN during his hang time. I'm also mesmerized by the commercial featuring middle aged men gleefully celebrating their ability to drink water and drive long distances. I particularly enjoy the slightly younger women in that one are turned on knowing that their geezers don't have to urinate frequently. Anyway, it's my birthday today. If you'll excuse me, I'm gonna go suck on my bronchitis inhaler so that later today I can blow out the candles without hacking up a lung. Well, alrighty then. Alright, 193. Show of hands during the climactic, face scrunching moment of the sex act. How many of you out there sometimes find yourself thinking, gee, I must look pretty silly right now. Come on, be honest. Okay, I understand. It's a little too intimate for a public conversation. How about if we do it this way? If you're alone right now, just nod. If you're reading this with your sexual partner, simply look at them, smile sheepishly. Then, when they smile back, suddenly twist your face into your freakiest orgasm position. If they laugh, you know you're in good company. Give them a hug, hit the play button on your DVR, and watch Two and a Half Men. If they don't laugh, hit play on your DVR, watch Two and a Half Men, and go out and find a new partner. Alright. These are a trip, aren't they? Number 5. 195. United We Stand. That was short and sweet. Alright, 196. My Soul's Journey. First aired 17th of March 2008. Alright, also short and sweet. Here we go. View uncensored. I'll read both. 198. Censored. Well, wouldn't you know it? Just 2 episodes back from the strike, and I've already managed to write a vanity card that is completely unacceptable to the good folks at CBS. I wasn't trying to offend, honest. I just saw an opportunity to poke some proverbial fun to nosh on the hand that feeds, if you will. They were not amused. If you would like to read my latest exercise in poor judgment, I'm sure you can find it somewhere on that thing that we writers are striking to claim dominion over. Just to be on the safe side, I apologize in advance. Please know that my aim was only to provoke a bit of gaiety. Gaiety? There's too many words to remember. Through the judicious use of a little thing I like to call the truth. Unfortunately, in television business, the truth rarely sets anyone free. More often than not, it just pisses them off. Alright. 198C. In tonight's episode, we explored the subject of lying to avoid hurting someone's feelings. During the climactic final scene, the character of Cousin Leo blamed his fabricated drug addiction on having been molested in the Philippines by an equally fabricated naval officer named Chaplain Horrigan. In the original shooting script, the make-believe molester was called Father Horrigan. CBS strongly objected to this. Their concern was that Catholic viewers would be offended by any suggestion that a Catholic priest would molest a child. I argued that several $billion in punitive damage payments established a reasonable link between priests and diddled kids. Oh no. My argument fell on deaf ears. No offense to our hearing impaired viewers. Outraged, I decided I was an 800-pound gorilla and threatened to shoot the scene as written. Their lawyers, 80-pound spider monkeys at best, threatened to cut it. I immediately blinked and changed the word father to chaplain. CBS's problem went away. Apparently, a non-denominational drunken pedophile is inoffensive. But more importantly, our Catholic viewers did not get their feelings hurt. Alright, yeah. Alright, number 200. 200 vanity cards. I've now amassed a body of work that can safely be called pointlessly unique. In the history of literary efforts, there has never been a literary effort quite like this one. Okay, literary might be pushing it, but I don't think I'm engaging in hyperbole when I say that it's highly unlikely my achievement will ever be duplicated, let alone surpassed. Why? Well, most show creators who are awarded the hollowed second and a half end of episode "Hey everybody look at me" card have better things to do. Those that have no life, a goodly number, are simply not compelled to vomit up weekly offerings of painfully personal, petty, mock metaphysical, self-congratulatory, rage-filled, and regretfully sarcastic essays that occasionally haunt them forever. Sure, non-showrunners can easily write a weekly essay of no particular value, but for it to be considered a true vanity card, it must be attached to the ass end of a television show. And let's keep in mind that I have a lot more shows than vanity cards. I've had a lot more shows than vanity cards. There were many weeks on Dharma and Greg, 2.5 Men, when I was too wasted, mostly in the literary sense, to write something coherent. Anyway, I wanted to use this momentous card to celebrate my accomplishment because, well, no one else was jumping up to do it. 200 cards. Boy, oh boy, that is really something. Oh god, I'm so blown. Damn. Alright. 2. Number 202. Tonight's a story. Hold on. Tonight's story about Sheldon's ego being crushed following his encounter with a young prodigy has its roots in my own life. Around 1974, I was playing guitar for a living in Miami Beach when I was 22 years old. I was 22 years old and I thought I was really something. In the parlance of musicians, I felt I had some serious chops. Nights I played at clubs, hotels, and private parties. For a few months, I worked in a lounge band on a cruise ship. I even landed a day gig playing acoustic solo stuff at a coffee house in South Beach. Excuse me. That was where a professor from the University of Miami saw me play, dug what I was doing, and invited me to audit his jazz guitar class at the university. I happily accepted, thinking I might be able to teach the kids a thing or two. I still remember the first class, me sitting in the back proudly holding my beat up 64 Fender Strat, while the college students all cradled expensive Gibsons. Of course, this only made me feel more smug. I was a working musician. These were rich kids in a rich school with instruments that daddy bought 'em. But then something happened that would change my life forever. A painfully shy 16-year-old boy walked into the room. He could barely speak nor make eye contact with anyone. I hate tiny print. Seemed dwarfed by his big jazz guitar, and was ludicrously introduced as a visiting professor to the university. His name, Pat Metheny. That's an unfortunate last name. I'm sorry. I'll never forget how I felt when he began to play. It was an imploding feeling, like the kind you get when your ego is being demolished like an old Vegas casino. Thankfully, the feeling was accompanied by a soft, reassuring voice in my head that whispered, "Fine work in television. Nobody's a prodigy there." 13 years later, I listened to that voice. I may have been deluded, but I was no quitter. Oh, and Pat, if you happen to read this, thank you. Well, my name's not Pat, but you're welcome. All right, number 204. Click to play. All right, I was fooled. All right, number 205. I don't know why I would actually click it, considering this was on a TV show. All right, 206. All right. I think we can all agree that the cliche no pain, no gain is a fundamental truth. When we experience physical pain in the gym, we gain muscle and stamina. When we endure hardship and sacrifice in order to succeed, we gain a feeling of satisfaction and achievement. Not to mention financial rewards. When we truly embrace emotional pain, we gain compassion for the suffering of others. Okay. And an appreciation for the fleeting nature of things, as well as wisdom and spiritual humility. Every act of birth is an act of pain. Our very lives are sustained by the suffering and death of plants and animals, who in turn are sustained by other organisms having a very bad day. That being said, I think we can also agree that this system sucks and needs to be seriously rejiggered. I don't think I've ever seen that before. Okay, that's a new one to me. I don't like it very much. Now, now I'm not saying I have a better approach to this pain/gain thing, but that's been in place for millions of years. But that doesn't mean we couldn't start tossing around some ideas. For instance, why couldn't infrastructure for life be developed around the theme "No dream, no gain"? Sounds like heaven, right? Or is dreaming too easy? Would life quickly become complacent and cease to gain? But then, is gain really that critical? Or is gain the whole point? Is the fact that life exists at all proof that God or the universe hates complacency? It certainly explains why Aboriginal people are constantly being murdered for the sake of progress. It even explains why HBO went down the toilet. Okay. Let's see here. All right, 208. Click to play. No, I'm not falling for that again. I don't know why I did the first time. I'm still upset about it. All right, 210. I believe that in order to walk through grief, fear, loneliness, despair, confusion, and anger without recourse to drugs, alcohol, overeating, oversexing, or the endless mind-numbing distractions provided by Western culture, one must become a spiritual warrior. I further believe that the payoff for enduring suffering, for soberly embracing the inevitable bouts of emotional pain that life brings, is wisdom and serenity in the face of calamity. But make no mistake here, the path of the warrior is treacherous and cannot be walked alone. To survive, he must have brothers and sisters in arms to carry him when he buckles. When we lived and died in small tribes, this principle of mutuality, supporting one another through the trials of life, was deeply woven into the fabric of the group mind. With the advent of towns and cities, we were forced to live with the daily dilemma of being desperately alone and yet desperately needing one another, which is why we which is why we are by design always seeking new tribes. With that in mind, I humbly offer a simple guideline to evaluate the efficiency of any tribe you might encounter on your path to become a spiritual warrior. If they ask for your money or access to your crotch, run away. If they ask for your money, smile unceasingly, never blink, guarantee that you to make you get them. If they ask for your money, smile unceasingly, never blink, and guarantee to make you a demigod. Running away will not suffice. Change your mailing address and briefly reconsider drugs, alcohol, food, sex, and TV. Okay. Last one for now. Alright, number 212. I believe that the voices of fear, both from without and within, can only be dispelled by trusting the voice that comes from the heart. Be still and listen to it. If it speaks of love and compassion for others, for the world itself, it just might be the voice of God, or a reasonable facsimile. If, however, it snarls with fear of the unknown, fear of losing what you have or not getting what you want, then it just might be the voice of Rupert Murdoch, or a reasonable facsimile. Yeah, alright? Well, that is all of season 1. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this. If you did, please consider about things that do stuff. I read things for about 20, almost 30 minutes straight. My mouth is dry, and it feels like it's a constant thing right now. Yeah, please consider about things that do stuff, and I'll see y'all next time. Yeah.